Ho, ho, ho. What's up, you guys? Welcome to another Shark News episode as Santa Shark is back with another G.I. Joe classified video. And today, since we had a little bit of time to digest the latest made-to-order Arctic Assault HISS tank, let's take a look and compare the Arctic Assault Hisstank with the HASLAB Hisstank, which was obviously what I just said, a HASLAB, whereas the one on the left is a made-to-order vehicle. Now, I already explained most of the whole made-to-order and HASLAB process, whatever, but in this particular video, I kind of broke it down in the sense of what were we getting associated with this Arctic Assault that the HASLAB didn't have, and what did the HASLAB have that the made-to-order version didn't have. So I might make some errors and I might make some mistakes here, so please do correct me in the comments below if I make any, because I'm definitely going right off the top of my head here, and plus this video took forever to do. So anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at both of these vehicles and do like a little comparing. And before I begin, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. It'll definitely help the channel grow. So with that being said, the link for the Arctic Assault will be provided in the description below if you want to check it out on HasbroPulse.com. And there's also some new images to go over there as well. So we'll check that out during the future live stream. So once again, we have the vehicle, the made-to-order Arctic Assault Hisstank on the left, and then we have the HASLAB Hisstank on the right. So here we go. Of course, the biggest takeaway here is the color scheme. One is a niche terrain vehicle for the snow, and the other one is basically your general, anywhere type of terrain. So, I mean, you can even use the black one in the snow if you want. You can take the white one and put it in the desert. I don't know. It's all really up to you. Mix and match. It's up to you. Like, who cares? But otherwise, the big takeaway here is really just a color difference. If you want more of your classic Hisstank, of course, you go for the right. If you want something to fit your sub-teams, your different terrains, your environments, then, of course, the one on the left definitely works. And then the big takeaway here as well is the numbers. We have 724 and then we have 788. So, minor differences, but again, nothing too crazy there. When it comes to the figures, now this is where it gets a bit interesting. Now, first and foremost, to get it out of the way, the HASLAB Hisstank came with additional figures, the 788 Fire Team, as well as the Techno Viper with the HMS. At the time of making this video, we are not aware or sure if they're going to do any other additional add-on characters for the Arctic Assault, so I did not include those in here in this particular video, but we will at some point in the future if something ever happens. However, if we were to look at the figures that the Arctic Assault Hisstank came with, it comes with one driver. Now, what is this driver essentially? Of course, it is inspired by the 2009 version. You can go ahead and Google that. However, the original HASLAB Hisstank came with the red driver, and if you look at the Arctic Assault, what does that figure really tell you what it is? It's basically the Snow Serpent and the HASLAB driver combined into one as a kit bash to create this new driver. So you let me know in the comments below, do you think that, even though, like I said, it's accurate to the 2009 version, so there's nothing wrong with it. However, do you think that combining two figures into one to make it slightly a kit bash version of a character, is that an incentive enough for you to buy? Well, the vehicle, of course, will be the incentive here, but does the figure kind of make up for it in the sense of, do you think that the G.I. Joe team should have really created a brand new figure, like a newly tooled, newly designed driver to kind of boost up the FOMO for this Arctic Assault, to be like, man, this figure, this new snow guy looks absolutely incredible. And then what they should have really done is taken this driver that we see here on the left, they really should have put that on like a retro card back and say, listen, if you guys have the made to order version, you can definitely pick up this one because it's inspired by the 2009 version, and this will accompany the driver that came with the original made to order. But the fact that they gave us this, again, the original, what the character looked like in 2009 with the made to order one, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just, I think if they wanted to make a little bit more money, they should have easily gave us a new character and then made this one a retro card back and just be like, listen, you can now add more troops to your ranking and stuff like that. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, you're basically just getting a kit bashed figure, so I don't know if that will drive people to be like, wow, this figure is awesome, because if you already have both of those on the right, then you pretty much know what you're getting on the left. So again, that's really up to you, but you know, it could go either way. Some people will love it, some people will be like, it's not a big deal, but when you really break it down, you're kind of getting the idea of where the G.I. Joe team is heading with this situation. So yeah, let me know in the comments below. Up next, this is where the big differences also comes in. Now, we know that the HASLAB was initially a tier ordering process, in the sense of you already paid for the base offering, which was the figure and the actual tank. That was already unlocked for the base price, which we'll get into in later on in this video. Here, in this particular made to order, you're already getting one of the tiers that was associated with this HISS tank. Now, of course, the HISS tank was already 100% funded, so there's nothing wrong there. But let's say, for the sake of conversation, if the HISS tank did not have the first tier get funded, which was the additional add-on treads, that means that this made to order version would have one-upped the HISS tank, in the sense of, wow, the made to order version has these white treads, but the original HISS tank does not, the black one. So the fact that everything was already unlocked in the HASLAB version, you can save yourself the time and be like, okay, now I can already have the treads associated to this. Now, you can let me know in the comments below. I don't know if these treads are removable or not. Should I just check the website real quick and see if they are removable? Let me see if I can see it here on the website real quickly. Well, I don't want to waste too much time trying to figure it out, but if they are, let me know. If there aren't, then let me know as well. But either way, additional add-ons, which is a great thing. So, oh, and do keep in mind, the HISS tank comes with 2 treads, whereas this version comes with only one of the treads. So the one that you see on the right is more of a super covered version, and then the one on the left has like those rigid lines on the left with those red outlines in the crevices. So the HASLAB kind of takes a little bit more of a point, because you're getting 2 treads over one, but at least in this made to order version, you've already unlocked one of them within the base price. So that's another thing to, put into consideration if that's a big enough deal for you. Otherwise, let's see what else we have in the differences. When it comes to weapons and additional add-ons and stuff, this firepower, I like to call these things firepower. The firepower turrets that you see here, the one on the right was part of the HASLAB Hisstank, and it was also another tier. So this is another interesting thing, where if this tier was not unlocked, which also had the female figure and some other stuff, but if this tier was not unlocked, then you, as HASLAB collectors, would not have gotten it. Whereas this made to order version already has the thing attached to it. So you're also saving yourself a little bit more time from, sweating buckets and be like, oh man, are we going to make the tiers? Are we going to make it? Are we going to make it? Nope, this one already comes with it. So you're kind of, again, saving a little bit more time. Whereas the HASLAB was like, I'm sweating buckets. I want this. Are we going to get it? Are we not going to get it? The tiers have to be funded in order for us to get it, because again, the tank is already funded at this point. You already got the base offering. But this is already the base offering with the add-ons as well. So you're kind of getting a little bit more bang for your buck for this made to order Arctic Assault. And do keep in mind, because the HASLAB has already been funded, you practically already gave them the tooling essentials for them to create this particular vehicle. And, you know, they did say that 3 years down the line, they're going to, you know, recreate old HasLabs to do like made to order style. So this is the first idea, which means the Dragonfly and Rattler are not too far away at some point in the future. So do keep in mind about that. So if this is a big deal, sure. I mean, it's great. If not, then let's move on because there's also some other things to look forward to within this particular vehicle. When it comes to the missiles, the made to order came with these red missiles, which I believe is a reuse from the Stinger. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like these are the same ones from the Stinger. Now, if you look at the actual HASLAB Hisstank, you'll know that it has these two big machine firepowers in the front, and then it's got two machine firepowers on the side. This made-to-order version has the missiles, which replaces the two big, you know, fire cannons, whatever the hell you want to call them. And then it also replaces the ones on the right and gives you just one extra one in the middle for the character in the cockpit to kind of just shoot over at other Joes, the incoming Joes. So you're removing a couple of big heavy-duty fire powers for missiles, but you're also gaining, I don't know how to explain it. You're getting like a character. I mean, both versions have the cockpit for the character, which as I'm looking at it, you can the character in the HasLab Hisstank has the two on the sides, but this one only has one for him to use with the missiles behind him. So a little bit of a different layout, but you know, you're taking some things off the HasLab and you're also putting it onto this made to order. So kind of like updating it. And again, it's inspired by the 2009 version, so it's all accurate, but it's just I want to compare and contrast to see what's the difference here. So is this big enough of a deal for you? I mean, we'll see as we move forward because one thing to do note here is that it's very clever that they reused parts. So how much money are they actually spending on these because the tooling has already been created? So that's the big takeaway here is that they already had the missiles created. So they're just changing the stickers of the word saber. I mean, are they losing money or are they profiting big money for this particular, you know, project? Because again, if the tooling is already made, what are they really spending the money on? Just recoloring? I mean, they're probably making a huge ass profit at this point. So let's keep going. When it comes to what's new, at least within this particular vehicle, you have a storage rack on the right, so that's actually very nice. You have the bedroll on the left. Now, the bedroll, it seems like a molded on plastic, so you can't take it off and, I guess, have your Cobra Troopers kaboosh in the wilderness. So the fact that it's kind of like a glued on, molded on plastic, I think you can remove it in the sense of you can switch angles from the left side of the tank to the right, but you can't like unfold it, you know. So it's not like the Bivouac. So that's kind of unfortunate, a little bit lackluster there, and that kind of sucks. But the storage rack is pretty cool because, you know, you got to have weapons and stuff. The new add-on here is also the propulsion unit, which is right behind the canopy of the tank, which allows the driver to kind of be like a little tech wizard here, like a mechanic, and kind of fix some parts, which is newly added because I look at the Hisstank and that does not have it. There's space for it, but this made to order version has it, whereas the other one does not. So that's another big difference and takeaway here. So at least the made to order version does give you some incentives in the sense of, hey, at least you got some new designs added or new storage units and a little bit more updates to it. So that's cool. When it comes to the cockpits, the HasLab has LED lights, and then the regular or the made to order version does not have any LED lights. So this was one of the big drawbacks that some collectors were saying, is that of course the Hisstank is supposed to be a one-on-one thing, but when you strip away all the bells and whistles, you're getting a skimmed down version of the Hisstank, and that's totally 100% fine. It's valid because the Hisstank is supposed to be, at least the HASLAB version is supposed to be like a super exclusive thing for collectors who spent that much money, and of course it was the first of its kind, so you want to draw collectors in it with those flashy and shiny lights. But of course the made to order version does not have it. So if that's a big deal for you, then maybe, I guess, if you're like good at soldering, you might be able to add something in there. I don't know. Otherwise, it's not too much of a big deal because, of course, for those who have the actual Hisstanks, know that, you can turn off the lights and then put in the batteries, and then the whole thing just glows and lights up with the Cobra logos in the middle, and which is also removed on this version. So if the lights are not a big deal to you, then again, you're not, it's not a big deal breaker. But think of it this way, though. The reason why this is kind of a drawback is because if you have this made to order version and you bring it out in the snow with your Snowcat. Now think about it. The Snowcat is decked out with LED lights, and that's a HASLAB. Now this thing does not have any LED lights, which basically means you will pretty much be having this vehicle left out in the dark, and that means, for stealth, sure, it works, but if you want to do like nighttime photography and having these two guys fight in the snow and do like some crazy battles, it's not going to look that great because one has lights and the other doesn't. Meaning like the Snowcat does and this one doesn't. So it's kind of like a night and day difference between these two. So if this made to order version actually had the lights, which, was going to be impossible, then it would have made the Snowcat, up for its money in the sense of you can do some amazing nighttime shots, but this one will be pretty much in the dark. So unfortunate, but it is what it is. Then next is another just piggybacking off of the previous segment. If you look at the Cobra logo that we see here, again, this goes back into the lighting section of this one. You'll just have to be in the dark, and you're just you can't do any nighttime stuff. So I guess that's why they did the photography for the daytime, whereas the Snowcat was all nighttime photography. Pretty awesome. But again, it's I don't know how you're gonna utilize this. So there's also that Cobra logo LED light in the middle, which you can see the sculpting and tooling is there, but obviously there's no lighting, so that's unfortunate. And one thing I did forget to mention is that the canopy covers, you have one canopy cover, which is the all red one, and then the HASLAB Hisstank has two canopy covers, whereas one was the retro style and the other one has like the red trims on it, which is the more updated one. So if that's big enough an incentive, then some version, like, again, I know these are both two completely different vehicles, but it's just I like to compare and have fun with this. So last but not least, as a final verdict, the one on the left is a HASLAB. The one on the right is a made to order. The HASLAB was $300. The made to order was $200. The HASLAB gave you 4 figures. The made to order was 1 figure. There was 4 firepower, like, shooting things if you want to include the turrets there on the bottom. But the made to order one has the missiles, but only 1 firepower, and they removed the ones on the side because, again, you have the additional add-ons, which was that the whatever you call it, the rolled up thing on the sides, and then the weapons rack. Then the Hisstank has LED lights, but the made to order version does not have LED lights. There's 2 canopies and 2 treads for the HASLAB Hisstank, and then the made to order has 1 canopy, and I guess by looking at the photo that the treads are not removable. I could be wrong, let me know. And then the biggest cautious thing was that if the tiers were not funded, then a lot of these things would not be tooled in. But a lot of the tiers were already included inside the made to order version, so you're kind of getting everything for one shot. So for an additional $100, you were getting 3 extra figures, more weapons, and of course all the other tiers, which if they were included, it was just more people backed it than the tiers were unlocking, so it's not like you had to pay a little extra for it, you know. Whereas this version, you know, you're spending $100 less, but you're getting additional add-ons, but no LED lights. But a lot of the tiers that were part of the Hisstank are already included in this. So to be quite honest, I don't really know what's the better deal here. Of course, the HASLAB Hisstank is the first of its kind, so that will always be superior and the best thing ever. The biggest you know, takeaway here is also the fact that this is a niche vehicle because it's made for the snowy terrains. So I think what we're gonna have to do here is I'm gonna kind of put it like a slight draw. I don't know if any one of them is better than the other. It's just that they kind of balanced it out in a very interesting way for me to be like, both options are fine, you know. But again, it's really just on pricing if you feel like you're getting ripped off with the made to order one. Now we will definitely have to wait in the future because we know that there's most likely going to be a blue Hisstank at some point because we know that's something that's been made before, at least in the old retro line. So we'll see how that goes. So with that being said, you let me know in the comments below, which one do you feel like is the bigger win here? Which one do you feel like is the, you know, do you feel like you're getting ripped off? Do you feel like this is worth the price for $200 compared to the $300, or is this totally irrelevant? Otherwise, keep in mind, this was all for fun. I just wanted to break down the differences between the two, and I hope this video kind of helped. So thank you guys all for watching. Be sure to give a like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next episode.